So next up, I'm just going to share some of the stuff that I've been seeing at home this last month. It's quite a bit more than I had the last couple months of 2022. I had some time off from work the first week, and that's where I saw like over half of these. But these are all things that I watched at home. Some I saw for the first time, some I had rewatched. So I'll let you know as we go through. And I just like sharing kind of the sort of stuff that I like. Hopefully yeah, just to spark conversation and also, yeah, usually these are the ones that or like this will include things that I'm rewatching, so it's ones that I like a bit more. Some things maybe not if I only watched it for the first time, but let's dive on in. Up first we have The Great Gatsby. This was a film that I saw for the first time. Watched it at home in 3D on my projector that I have. I thought it was a great film. I kind of surprised it took me this long to see it, but I thought it was really good, and it's one that I think is worth checking out. We have Mission Impossible. I got through the first three. I'm kind of trying to get through a rewatch of the six movies that are out before we get Dead Reckoning Part 1 later this year. So I got half of them out of the way this January. It's the worst half by far, in my opinion. I think I have these out of order. Mission Impossible 3 and then 2. Let's see. So we have Mission Impossible 1. I think this is a good film. It's one that I recommend. For me, it feels maybe a little dated at this point, and especially compared to the later entries in the film and the series they go bigger. It's not really anything against this film, so I think I would feel different if I saw this when it released back in like whenever it released. It probably played a lot better then, but I don't know that it's still an enjoyable film. I think it's worth checking out if you're looking for something to watch, but I think there's just a lot better stuff out for me to not be able to put it in the great category, even though I think some people might. We'll do these in this order. So Mission Impossible 2 is fine. This is the worst of the series. It's between fine and bad. I think you can kind of watch it. You really don't need to watch it. It's not one that I recommend. I think there are other things to watch with your time. Mission Impossible 3, I thought this was good. It's on the lower side of good. It's definitely not as good as the first one, in my opinion. I think some people like it better than the first one, but I think it did enough to be good, but it's also just not that memorable. Not a whole lot sticks out to me about that film. But yeah, then we have Orphan Black Season 2. I've been working my way through this series, and I completed Season 2 this last month. I am really enjoying the show. For me, I've been going through it a little slowly, so that might be impacting my experience of it. It's right now between good and great, but for now, it's gonna go in the good category. I'm really enjoying it. I like the characters. I like Tatiana Maslany, and I think I'm curious to see where it goes. I think by the end of the show, it could get into the great category. It's hovering right around there, but I need to kind of judge it as a whole. Next, we have Uncut Gems. This was a good film. It's not great or anything. It's interesting seeing Adam Sandler in a serious role. I think it's worth watching if you're looking for something to see, but don't go out of your way to see it. It's a very stressful film for me. There's a lot of people shouting at each other, and it was not a very enjoyable experience, even though I thought it was a good film. The Shining. This was so I saw The Great Gatsby for the first time. Orphan Black is the first time. I was rewatching all the Mission Impossibles. I'd seen those before. Uncut Gems I watched for the first time, and then The Shining is also one that I saw for the first time this last month. That one I know is a classic. I haven't been big on horror, so that's why I've been avoiding it, I think, in the past. But this was really just fine. It wasn't a bad film. I didn't find it really scary at all. I think it's not a scary film. I think it leaves a lot of unanswered questions and not enough stuff for me personally to theorize about. So I felt like it was just kind of frustrating. And I don't really get why it's held to be as good of a movie as it's got the reputation. And then these last three are all rewatches for me. Just watched them as movie nights with friends, so they were a good time. Shrek 2 was good. I think the first one is great, and then all the rest are not great. They're lower. I think good is still good. Yeah, it's I like the first one better than the second one. But Cyrano, I think this is a great film. I had it in my top 10 for last year when I made my top 10 video, which you can check out on my channel. It got bumped out now that I've seen Women Talking. That made it into my top 10. But I love the music for this. It can be a little over the top at times with like the love story and stuff, but I think it's kind of fun and charming in that way. And then The Invisible Man, I thought this was a great film. I think it plays a lot better the first time. Like, this is just my second time seeing it, and knowing when the jump scares are going to come and everything, it wasn't scary this time through. And without that element, the everything else that's in there isn't quite a great film. But collectively, I think as a first time experience, it's definitely a great film. And I really like the story and the characters that are there. I like that it's about the character, and that's usually what I look for a horror film to be great for me. But yeah, that's what I've been watching at home quite a bit this month. Definitely, I'd love to hear what you have been watching lately. Any shows or movies you'd recommend that you think I haven't seen, or even if you have any of these in common that you like, especially that you can relate to, I'd love to hear it in the comments down below.